This is Nightline.
Tonight, inside the conclave. The ancient and secretive ritual to choose the next pope.
We're about to choose the most famous man in the world.
And 1.25 billion souls watching.
As in the Oscar-winning movie Conclave, the cardinal's now cut off from the outside world.
There's actually a false floor in the Sistine Chapel that has cell jammers underneath it, and the entire network in the Vatican City state has been turned off.
We talk to the people who know what happens behind those doors, who are the favorites to succeed the people's pope. Plus, Geena Davis, the Academy Award-winning actress, best known for classic films like Thelma and Louise.
Think you found your calling? Maybe, the call of the world. Woo!
Opens up about her decades in Hollywood.
Nobody is going to send their client to an audition in a hotel room anymore, that's for sure.
The surprising thing, she says, a league of their own taught her about herself.
Ensign should have no trouble with this. She's under it.
And Practical Magic, the sequel. Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock reprise their roles in the blockbuster 90s film.
From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. It's early in the morning in the Vatican. Cardinals of the Catholic Church remain cut off from the world. Their work to select the next pope to resume shortly. This is the largest group of electors ever and the most diverse in modern times. But it's really anyone's guess whom they'll choose. ABC's Maggie Rulli has been covering the history in the making from St. Peter's Square, and she was there when the famous smoke from the chimney appeared just hours ago after their first vote. Maggie.
Hey, Byron. Yeah, we were standing right here just outside St. Peter's Square, shoulder to shoulder with tens of thousands of other people, and everyone's eyes were right there, just waiting for smoke. Now, the crowd started to gather as soon as the Cardinals went inside the Sistine Chapel, and it just kept growing for nearly 4 hours. We met so many Americans in the crowd as well, some Catholics, but also many that were just here on vacation. They said they weren't Catholic, but they had to be here to witness this moment of history, and that's really what we felt like. It was a communal moment. Catholics and non-Catholics alike here to watch this centuries-old tradition. Black smoke filling the air. No pope chosen on day one of the conclave. The closed-door gathering at the Vatican has only happened 7 other times in the last 100 years.
This is a huge moment in the history of the church because we don't do this very often.
133 cardinals from around the world taking an oath of secrecy inside the Sistine Chapel. The ceiling and walls famously painted by Michelangelo. The doors and windows then sealed from the outside world.
It's a rare moment when a bunch of elderly men can upstage the artwork of Michelangelo, but the conclave is that moment.
The process shrouded in mystery.
Each time there's a conclave, it marks a turn in the road as to where the church is heading.
Who will the cardinals decide on? So far, they've given very few clues leading up to the conclave.
It's very unlikely that they will choose someone from the secular and northern part of Europe.
Y ahí quedamos muy en claro que debe ser una persona apasionada por Jesús, por su evangelio.
I can't say that I'm settled on one, but I definitely have 2 or 3 that I'm thinking.
Will they choose a pope who continues Francis's legacy of modernizing the church, or someone who takes it in a different direction?
There are factions in the church, as there are in any organization. Broadly speaking, traditionalists versus liberals or reformers. It does become quite political.
Our fascination with the Vatican goes beyond Catholicism. It's part of pop culture.
The new pope is yet to be selected.
From films like Angels and Demons.
I hope this business is not too distressing.
Does a shepherd run away when the wolves appear?
To the 2 popes.
The Pope is dead. The throne is vacant.
To this year's Oscar-winning film, Conclave.
We're about to choose the most famous man in the world.
And 1.25 billion souls watching.
A political thriller fictionalizing what happens behind closed doors when a pope dies.
It's actually quite accurate. In terms of the logistics, the pageantry, it seems to me to be pretty much dead on.
It's a spiritual event, but underneath that, there are votes. And if there are votes, there's politics.
Robert Harris wrote the novel that the movie was based on.
I interviewed a cardinal who'd taken part in a conclave, and I asked the Vatican for permission to go and see the main locations where a conclave happens. And of course, I studied how the whole process unfolds.
Like the film, the Vatican takes steps to ensure the process is kept top secret from the public.
These cell signals are all jammed, so there's actually a false floor in the Sistine Chapel that has cell jammers underneath it, and the entire network in the Vatican City state has been turned off.
Some of the cardinals taking to social media before handing their phones over, including this video posted on X by the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, captioned, "Conclave Ready." Fernando Chomali of Chile showing how he was washing his white shirt. And New York's Cardinal Timothy Dolan leaving his followers with a final message.
So folks, I won't be able to talk to you until you see the white smoke. I look forward to doing that. Keep us in your prayers. I mean that. I'm so moved and grateful for the many assurances and prayers.
The idea is they're locked away without any communication with the outside world until 2/3 of them vote to choose the next pope.
80% of the eligible cardinals were appointed by Pope Francis.
It seems to me that Francis, over the course of his papacy, wasn't choosing arch-conservative cardinals who would reverse his legacy. There's a good chance that the Pope to succeed Francis will be very much in line with the message of mercy and tolerance that Francis promoted.
They come from every corner of the world, 71 different countries, the largest and most diverse conclave in recent history. The youngest cardinal is just 45. The oldest will turn 80 the week after the conclave starts. They will cast secret ballots up to 4 times a day, 2 votes in the morning, 2 votes in the afternoon.
The cardinals have each been issued with a ballot paper, and they have to write down the name of the cardinal they wish to see as pope.
Their ballots placed one by one at the front of the chapel in this urn. They're counted and then connected with a single thread, and all of the ballots are burned after each vote. And once they reach that 2/3 majority inside the Sistine Chapel, the famous white smoke signaling a new pope. And inside, the white papal garments come next. They're hanging in the so-called Room of Tears, where the new pope will come to change, to pray, and perhaps shed a tear before being revealed to the world just a short time later.
The atmosphere when the white smoke comes up is totally electric. It's hard to explain it. There's about 45 minutes between the white smoke and the man comes out and says, "Annuncio vobis gaudium magnum." It's, "I announce to you great joy, we have a pope."
Habemus Papam.
And just a huge cheer goes up, and then we'll find out who the person was. He'll say his name.
Today, the cardinals had their first vote. In St. Peter's Square, tens of thousands of the faithful gathering, waiting to see the color of the smoke, including Loretta Babich, whose group's trip had originally had an audience to see Pope Francis.
How would you describe the energy here right now?
It's just, we can feel the excitement in the air, and I hope we get a pope who will unify not only the Catholic Church, but the whole world, you know, and help people to understand what is truly important in this life.
After nearly 4 hours of waiting, black smoke rises from the chimney, meaning no pope had been chosen. You just see that now, black smoke. You're just seeing it creeping above the building there. People have been waiting for this moment. Nighttime fell. Everyone's still recording it on their phones, but I think some people thought it was going to be white smoke. We waited so long. Are you going to be out here every morning, every night till there's white smoke?
Yes.
You are?
I will be. Yep, I will be here until there is white smoke.
The big question, which cardinal has the most support?
There isn't any one clear front-runner apart from the Secretary of State, an Italian named Parolin, who's been at Francis's side throughout his papacy, but he's not a man of particular charisma.
The Italians haven't had a cardinal for nearly 50 years. They have a huge voting bloc, and we'll be looking to see whether there's a first black pope or whether there's a pope from Asia.
That could be Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle from the Philippines, a contender who's also relatable, a karaoke singer who has his own broadcast.
Tagle, very much a supporter of Francis, seen as open-minded and quite liberal. There's some concern about his management skills, so he may well not finish up as pope.
Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzabali also being mentioned, currently the Vatican's representative in Jerusalem.
He seems to have a certain bravery. He offered to be taken hostage in place of Israeli hostages taken by Hamas after the October 7th attacks. The problem with him is that he's 60 years old, which many cardinals may see as just too young, because his papacy would be just too long.
It could take only a few days before the next pope is named.
A lot of people are expecting this to be a 2 to 3, maybe 4-day conclave. The last 3 have all been around 24 hours. So 2 to 3 days would be relatively long. That kind of shows that the cardinals don't know each other very well.
The truth is that I have no idea who's going to win, and really nobody does. These things tend to move all of a sudden in a sort of mystic way, in the way that human society behaves when it's locked away and has to come to a decision.
The world will certainly be waiting and watching.
Our thanks to Maggie. ABC News will continue to cover the conclave. Our team on the ground will update us live as each vote happens. When we come back, the legendary Geena Davis sits down with my co-anchor Juju Chang. How her height helped her land her first big break, and what she's doing now that she's never done before. Welcome back. Two-time Oscar winner Geena Davis has starred in some of the biggest hits of the last 4 decades. But her newest venture, a children's book, was inspired by her own insecurity about her height. My Nightline co-anchor Juju Chang sat down with her.
Geena Davis, welcome.
Thank you so much.
We, of course, know you from classics like Beetlejuice and the legendary Thelma and Louise.
Think you found your calling? Maybe, the call of the wild. Woo!
Tell me of those characters that you've embodied throughout your career. Is there a favorite or one of which you're most proud?
Oh, well, you know, I was so lucky that I got to play so many really great parts. Long Kiss Goodnight is actually one of my big favorites.
Name's Charlie, the spy. Nice to meet you.
Ooh. Where I got to have a split personality, sort of, and also be such a warrior, as you called me earlier. So, yeah, all that fighting and everything and working with Samuel L. Jackson was amazing. But, of course, you know, League of Their Own and Thelma and Louise are really important.
You're an athlete. You almost went to the Olympics as an archer. How important to you as a woman is it to sort of show that athleticism and that physicality to other young girls?
I didn't know that I was athletic. I did not know that I was physically coordinated. As a kid growing up, I was so self-conscious and shy. And then when I had to learn baseball for League of Their Own, I'm kind of good at this.
She's under it.
And then I had to learn all those other sports, and I was like, wow, wait, it really transformed my life and how I felt about myself, that I could actually do physical things. It was so important.
There's so much self-acceptance to your story, and you've poured a lot of that into your new children's book. It's called The Girl Who Was Too Big for the Page, which you not only wrote, but you illustrated beautifully. Take us into your creative process.
Yeah, so I had the idea for the story first, and it's about a girl who lives in a book and knows that her life is taking place in a book and that people are reading it. She grows bigger than the size of the book.
It's so meta.
Right, it's so meta. And so now what is she going to do? She goes through every possible contortion to figure out how she can still fit in this book.
You've been so eloquent about how you thought your height was something to be hidden, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your journey of self-acceptance, do you feel as though there were times in Hollywood where you felt you were either too tall or that was a hindrance?
Well, you know what was interesting is I got my first role because I was so tall, because I had some scenes in Tootsie opposite Dustin Hoffman, and they wanted a woman to tower over him.
You definitely did that.
Which I definitely did, yes.
I have to kiss Dr. Brewster. Oh, yeah, he kisses all the women on the show. We call him the tongue.
I mean, when people look at you, they would never imagine that you'd be insecure about anything. But
Right.
What was that like for you to learn to accept that?
Oh, God, yeah. I had terrific imposter syndrome, you know, for a while, and I desperately wanted to be smaller. That's why I didn't play sports as a kid, because people looking at me, you know. And then, of course, I pick a career where it's nothing but people looking at you.
Exactly.
But, you know, I guess it shows I recovered.
That's amazing. And you've done remarkable work highlighting gender roles and representation in Hollywood. And yet, do you think the on-set experience for women in Hollywood has changed?
Well, Me Too made a big difference. It really did. Things changed in Hollywood, and not that we can be sure that nothing is going on now, but it really did change. Nobody is going to send their client to an audition in a hotel room anymore. That's for sure.
That's for sure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Great to see you.
Yeah.
And of course, The Girl Who Was Too Big for the Page is out now wherever books are sold.
Our thanks to Juju. When we come back. Something old, something new. Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman are back. Sequel to Practical Magic. And finally tonight, the cult classic Practical Magic is getting a reboot. Warner Brothers building anticipation with the release of this teaser.
Tooth of wolf and morning dew. Something old and something new. Let the spell begin to mix. September 18th, 2026.
Those are the voices of Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock, who are reprising their roles as magical sisters Sally and Gillian Owens, who were raised by their eccentric and witchy aunts in Massachusetts. Together, they have to contend with a curse that keeps them from finding love.
Of course you're gonna see me again. We're gonna grow old together.
The 1990s film was a flop when it first released, but gained growing popularity in later years. Kidman offering a few details of the project to Variety.
Moving along rapidly. Just needs a little magic.
And that's Nightline for this evening. Catch our full episodes on Hulu. We'll see you right back here same time tomorrow. Thanks for the company, America. Good night.